very quick introduction. PJ is indeed what everybody calls me when they need to speak English. It's Pieter-Jan, but I don't mind. My history is actually, or at least where I come from, is I'm a programmer. I'm a really, really technical person. Started programming when I was 6. Studied computer science, started working as a developer, and then I got bored. At a certain point in time, we realized, why are we, well, just programming something while we could have an impact, build something that we would love to build something that we would like. And our worst case scenario was that we would need to go back to work. That's when we actually started THEO Technologies, which is the company that I helped found, and which last year, in a continuation of the story, got sold to Dolby. As I was just saying, very different challenges in a corporate world. I really like the startup and the scale-up environment a lot more, but, well, the question everybody asks is, how long do you have to stay? I don't technically have to stay, but there's a few things I want to finish before I switch to something new again. But what's the company that we built? That's probably the other very, very relevant question here. Actually, THEO was a B2B company, very deep in technology, in streaming technology. Probably a company that most of you didn't hear of, but I'm pretty sure that most of you used some of the technology that we developed, probably even earlier today. We became very quickly, after we launched the product, the reference as a streaming video player. Built out a team here in Belgium, 50 people more or less, but also a very, very global customer base. We always aimed at tier 1 customers, sports, media, and entertainment. And this slide is actually a very difficult one to make because we had more than 200 customers. And for a lot of them, especially the cool ones like NFL and the Olympics and FIFA and all of those, we didn't always have naming rights. So that was always tricky, where we had to check, are these logos we can show? But 200 and even more than 200 customers, all big broadcasters, big telcos, big sports organizations, big streaming services. And well, we were actually doing billions just with the player product. We were doing billions of video plays every month. So very high probability that that this was being used. But why did we manage to grow this company? It's obviously not a surprise that while we were growing this company between 2012 and now, that also the streaming industry has changed a lot. In 2012, I can tell you it was a miracle when video was playing in a browser and there were no errors. That's the age of Flash. That's the age of Silverlight, for those of you who still recognize it. Today, that's of course completely different. Everybody wants to be able to stream on any platform, any device, all at once, whenever they want. So the market was really growing, and we were hitching a ride with that market as well. We actually enabled a big piece of it. And also today, where are we now? Well, every company is basically becoming a streaming company. It's the preferred way for everybody to consume news, to consume all kinds of different content. But what everybody seems to forget is that doing this is still today way too complicated. This is a very, very simplified version of a streaming stack, extremely simplified. Just to give you an idea of how complicated this can be, on average, over the past couple of years, every year, again and again, a company like Netflix spends $2 billion on engineering alone. Billion with a B. That's a lot of developers, a lot of engineers. And they still failed at their first 10 live events that they did. They all failed. All for different reasons, all different parts of the stack that went wrong. But that's Netflix with $2 billion. This is really, really complicated stuff. And for us, the goal as a company was, how do we make this simple? How do we make sure that we get a simple solution that's easy to deploy, easy to maintain, easy to develop with, and how do we basically democratize this? How do we make sure that everybody, even the tiny public broadcaster, which has barely any funding, that they can have a premium stack that can actually do things better than Netflix could do with their $2 billion spent in engineering. That didn't go all in one step, but actually after we launched our player product, and I will tell you how we got to that launch later, because the smart people are already saying that's 2015, that's not 2012. Where did the first 3 years go? But after we actually launched this product, we very quickly became the reference as a video player for streaming video on all of these platforms. And I'll go into the later stages later, but we actually grew extremely quickly as a reference. If you would be walking around on a streaming conference like IBC or NAB, everybody will know the THEO name. When people needed to mention, ask them who are the top 3 video players or the top 2 video players even, we would always be mentioned. That's the big of an impact, or the size of the impact that we actually had. But what happened in the beginning? We didn't start the idea with building a video player. We didn't start the company like that, and we were actually very naive. Remember I said, worst case scenario, we need to go back to work. We actually started with an observation that at that point in time, content online was becoming more and more familiar. I had seen that YouTube was there in 2005. That's indeed correct. That was picking up. There was Google Video. There was, for those of you who know it, Justin TV. That became Twitch. That's probably a more known name. They were starting up, and content was becoming available. Wasn't a huge amount yet, but it was starting to become enough that it was becoming difficult to find the stuff that you really were interested in. So we figured, let's start building something so that we can find the stuff that we like a lot easier. Basically, recommendation engine before anybody else started building recommendation engines. But that was a bit too soon. And in parallel, we needed to get money in. How did we get money in? We figured we need more content online to recommend it, so let's help companies to stream their events, stream them live, publish them as VOD, and then we made this video, which always hurts me when I watch it. There's audio as well. It's not that relevant, but it was basically a commercial of us doing the first time Volley TV, which was a live broadcast of a volleyball game, which normally was not broadcasted. This kind of content couldn't make it on TV, not available anywhere. Our goal was, let's try and make it available. So we got a couple of guys with cameras. We had a director trying to make sure that it would be somewhat of an engaging thing to look at. Got an SDI cable, and then it was on to us. We were sitting next to the field. That's me there in the middle with a lot more hair. And, well, we started encoding, compressing, sending it into the cloud, then distributing it. And we had to use 3 or 4 different streaming protocols. Very annoying if you need to do it. Today, that's already a whole lot different. There was the video players. We had Flash, we had Silverlight, we had Java. You had to use all of them in order to reach your audience. And that was really a pain. And we really figured at that point in time, why is it so difficult? And I had the idea, why can't we just do all of this without having to install something, one streaming protocol, no plugins. We hate plugins. They always crashed. So that's where we got. And we built this technology, and that technology, it worked. We could suddenly play video in a browser. And we actually patented that. It might sound weird, but we own a patent on playing a video stream in a web browser. It was the first time that this happened, and funny anecdote on that. I had been doing some open source work in the past. I knew somebody who was working on the YouTube team. And out of the blue, he sent me an email like, hey, I see that this guy, probably some marketing intern at the company where you are working, he put on the website that you can stream in a browser without installing plugins. Just go and slap him and tell him that it's wrong. And I sent him a demo, and his response was one-liner, fuck, we need this as well. And that was for us the trigger to actually say, let's pivot, let's go completely onto this player thing. We went out to Silicon Valley, met with all of the big ones, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Justin TV, just becoming Twitch at that point in time. We met with all of them, and all of them said, this is amazing. But can you do advertisements? Or can you do analytics? Or can you help us do copy protection like DRM? And the answer was no. And we very soon realized that we had a very cool technology, but it was definitely not a product yet. So we had to start working on this. We worked very closely with some of these big names to get all of their requirements in and to get that out into the market. And that only happened in 2015 when we officially launched the THEO Player product. First customer, I don't know if anybody recognizes the logo, but this is the UK Parliament. That was our first customer. After that, that's when that rocket ship really became, started flying. We signed up customers like CNN. We signed up customers like Twitter. Very quickly, that brand recognition boosted us extremely quickly. Started winning a lot of awards. We were, at that point in time, the only video player able to play in a browser without any plugins. We started extending, went to all of the mobile devices. Today, we have customers using that product on their smart fridges, in their cars. If it has a screen and it has an internet connection, even without an internet connection, actually, we can play video on it. We can stream video. That growth started, helped us significantly to keep growing. Started building more technology. When we were working with Twitter, for example, with their Periscope product, it was basically Facebook Live before there was Facebook Live. They wanted to reduce the latency, the delay between action happening on the field or in front of the camera and it being shown with all of the users. 2012 and even 2023, that delay on average is like 40 seconds between something happening and something being seen. In Twitter, X now, it takes 2 seconds to send a message around the world. So people are getting messages or text messages even before they see stuff happening on their screen. In sports, that's very bad, especially when betting is involved. But we started building technology for that as well and started building more and more products. Second product was actually the THEO Live product. Wasn't just a player that would play anything on any device. This is actually a more end-to-end platform. Now, you can actually plug in that cable that we would get from a director. You could plug it into a box, send it to our systems, and it will show it on the screen of your end users, any size, any scale, in less than a second. So going from 40 seconds and even more for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 2 years ago, 90 seconds, 98 seconds. Last year, 15 seconds. They are improving. This can do it in less than a second at scale. Our ads product that we started building after that, actually we developed that together with the NFL. And the reason for that is, THEO Ads is actually a bad name. We always said it was a bad name. But the reason for that is they want to be able to personalize things towards their viewers a lot more. Yes, advertisements, they are very personalized, but this also allows us to do personalized highlights. This allows us to do multiple camera angles at the same time, personalized for people based on what you want to see. So this is actually a very, very interesting piece of technology as well. And that's basically the basis for all of our products. I'm a very, very technical guy. Ask my wife, she complains about it. But also my other founders, they were also technical people. So we always use this technical innovation as a basis. The player, everybody is doing streaming in browsers right now. If you don't do it, there's something very, very wrong with you. With the live product, the underlying technology that we built called HESP, yes, it's a play on words in Dutch. But that technology, that is being integrated in more and more streaming protocols. And I'm pretty sure that the streaming protocols that will be used in the following 10, 15 years will all be rooted in that piece of technology as well. And with ads, that's something that is picking up at this point in time in the industry as well. So, I mean, I must say I'm pretty proud that we helped facilitate a lot of that as well. But this is always something that I have to mention. We could not have done it without the people and the team. And we made big mistakes there. At a certain point in time, we were growing so much that we were hiring people, and at a certain point in time, the company, we were even at 100 people because we were throwing people at a problem. We had so much work, and we figured, let's just get more people and it will magically all get fixed. No, we realized that even with double the amount of people, we were not getting stuff done at all. And the reason for that was because we started hiring the wrong people. Initially, it was very simple. Initially, I was hiring, my other founders were hiring, and we knew what we wanted in people. We want to be able to work with people who drive us to do better every day, who are as passionate about this as we are, who know what they're talking about and really want to keep pushing the envelope. And at a certain point in time, we realized that those were not the people in the company anymore. So we did the very, very fluffy thing at that point in time to define what are the keywords that we are looking for in people and blah, 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 but it actually helped us. We started focusing on this a lot more in hiring, and we started looking at our team as more of a pro-athlete team rather than just a family. Yes, we care about people. We care about them very greatly. That's one of the main reasons why I'm still at Dolby. I care about the people. I want them to end up in the right place. But we also realized that nobody wants to be, or nobody's going to be motivated to do anything when you see your colleague sitting at a different desk, not doing anything, but you realize that they're getting the same amount of money as you are. So for us, the idea was we want people with the passion, with the drive, who are really picking up ownership, who are doing their best every single day. And if they can't, we will try and help them and train them to get that done. But that's the kind of company we want to be. And that really helped us. We went from basically almost 100 people back to like 50 people. And we're getting way more stuff done than we ever got done before. And now Dolby is adding a bunch of new people. But, well, that's we need to keep that hiring process very, very strict. But yeah, Dolby, I mentioned it a couple of times. It actually was not our plan to sell the company. We were actually planning to keep going for another 5 years, 10 years, however long it would take. We had a couple of big goals that we wanted to get. But, well, actually, beginning of 2024, Dolby approached us. And it started becoming more serious than we ever had before, for the simple reason that in the past, we were already approached by some of the big tech companies who just wanted to buy this technology. But we always knew that if we would just sell for the technology, yes, the technical team would be safe, commercial team would probably be out on the street, but also our customers would be abandoned, they would not be interested into the product, but Dolby was really interested into the products as well. They wanted the full package. They wanted the team, they loved the culture, they loved the people, they loved the products, they loved the customers. A lot of our customers were the same customers that Dolby was selling to. So we started exploring it, and it took us more than 6 months to actually first see, is this really something we want to do? And after that, making the step and doing all of the boring paperwork. Dolby is a law firm at heart. For those of you who don't know, they're known in the audio world very much, but they're a law firm. They have more than 400 lawyers. And on our side, there was me, usually doing negotiations with one other lawyer. So that was fun. But now, at this point in time, we're a part of Dolby. Am I happy about the exit? Yes, I think this was really the right thing for us to do. How much money did we get? That's usually the question I get. I'm not allowed to say. Even if you look it up in their public filings, it will be very difficult to spot it. But we're still building on this product portfolio. We had to let go of the THEO name. We were never great at naming anyway. It's now called Dolby OptiView. I don't know if that's a better name. But we're actually bringing in more of the Dolby products into the fold for this. integrating some of them still, and well, we're expanding towards even more customers, even more products in the pipeline. So that will be very interesting. And I don't know what time it is, but this is more or less the point in time where you can start asking questions if there are any.
Yes, absolutely. So we have time. So if anyone wants to ask JP questions, PJ, then you're welcome. So anyone got any burning questions for him?
Really interesting to know how you've done this. But comparison to JW player, how do you see that? What is the difference and what is the road? We are pretty close as well. JW is from Netherlands, I guess.
They are from the Netherlands. I know Jeroen very well. I've gotten to know him over time when we were working together. They were by far the best Flash-based video player out there. We actually had conversations with them in the very early days when we told them, look, we can now do what you guys are doing, but we can do it without Flash and without anything else. And in my opinion, and Jeroen agrees with that, they missed the boat on going to HTML5. At this point in time, if you would Google JWP is probably what you need to Google, you will find that there is still a JW platform. What they have done is they realized at a certain point in time that they had lost completely the player market. We took customers of theirs one after the other very quickly. They never even got into mobile applications themselves. They didn't have a solution for mobile players for a very long time. And as a result, are we very close? Absolutely. We did the same thing at a certain point in time when they were Flash-based, we were web-based. But after that, they pivoted more to, well, an OVP at this point in time. So really full end-to-end platform. They're actually using open source-based players at this point in time. They're not really selling the player anymore, even though they're still known as JWP for brand recognition.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I can talk about those kind of things for hours without an end. So
brilliant. Any other questions? Yes.
I missed actually most of the talk, so I'm sorry. But I'm just curious, as a early stage founder, what is the biggest tip you can give early stage founders?
That depends. For me, the biggest tip that I can probably give is stay extremely close to your customers. For us, when we were building the initial technology, we had no idea who our customers were going to be. We had no idea what their requirements were going to be. It was only after we started talking with more and more of our customers or potential customers that we learned all of the stuff that we need. And today, actually, what we do is we work very closely with our existing customers still. With NFL, for example, they are, again, our biggest customer. We had another one which was bigger. But especially with all of our big customers, we have what we call them delivery engineers, but they're people in the engineering team. They are working together with the customer very closely. They're not building something custom for that customer, but they're hearing what are their product requirements, bringing them back so that we can get them into the product. We ship the same product to everybody. That's a common misconception that initially existed with us. We ship the same product to everybody, but we make sure that we really understand what the customer needs. First step in our sales process, it's writing what we call yes, it's a document because we need it on paper. We want to be able to refer to it, but we write a scoping page. And that scoping page says us everything about what does this customer need? What are their unique requirements? What are the things in the product that we have today that would suit them well? And what would be interesting for us to modify? And as long as you stay close to the customer, that's I think where you will understand how to do marketing better. You will understand how to do sales better. You will understand how to do your product development better, but also how to do your support and your customer success better. So for me, that's in the end the one big thing that this technical guy has learned.
Can I ask a follow-on question to that, which is how do you do it? How do you stay that close to your customers? Where does the information come from So because there's a big argument in scale-up world whether you make decisions that are product-led or sales-led, and what's the balance between the two. So do you get that kind of information from your customers through your sales teams, or do you get it through your product teams? What's the interplay between them? Because they're not always the same.
I agree. And at the time when the acquisition actually happened, I always was the CTO, but I was in charge of the sales team as well.
Whoa.
Which I know is a very, very weird situation. But yeah, you cannot trust a sales guy to understand a deep technical product and to understand the deep technical requirements of your customer. The sales engineering team on our side was always in the engineering team. These were engineers. In the beginning, I was doing this. And even at the end, I'm jumping on calls still today with big customers to understand what they really need. And yes, I mean, there's a product team and there's a lot of other people as well who are jumping into the same calls because you can't do all of them. But you need to keep that connection. With the NFL, well, I fly to the US often, but I fly out to visit the NFL to listen to their requirements once every 3 to 6 months as well. You need to stay connected, or at least the people who can make an impact need to stay connected. That's, I think, one of the most important things for me.
And that is why Dolby are not going to let you go.
That's why they are
Not
making
yet,
it
really.
Economically very interesting to keep me.
And anything else you'd like to know from PJ? Yes.
Thanks a lot first for your nice presentation. Actually, in the beginning, you were referring to Netflix, that they're failing for their live stream events. In your experience and on your vision, let's say you're in Netflix, what would you change? What would be your approach? What are they doing wrong?
The big problem is that it's very difficult to test these kind of things. NFL, they are currently on all of our products. They're on our real-time product, they're on our live streaming product, they are on our advertisement product, they're on our player product. In September, we will have big new launch because they are going to start with the advertisement product, go live in production for the new season that's starting then. There's no way to test this. There are too many devices. There's a super high amount of complexity to get all of that done. And the big thing that we built, which I know is quite unique in the industry, is we have basically a warehouse full of TVs, mobile phones, laptops, tablets, everything you can imagine, like gaming consoles, VR headsets. There's no cars in there. One day we will have a warehouse with cars potentially as well. Dolby already has one. But all of those are automated, and we are running tests on those 24/7. And we are using them as a botnet to attack our servers to see, can we load test this? How big of a scale can we get? But even at that point in time, yes, these are thousands of devices. We're looking at millions of viewers. Netflix, the last big event that they had where they failed, they had 150 million people trying to watch, what was it, the Mike Tyson game, all at the same point in time. And you need to realize when a game like this starts, what happens? Everybody turns on, it's going to start at 9. Okay, we all turn on the TV at that point in time. So that means that in a matter of a couple of seconds, there are millions and millions and millions of people tuning in to watch. That's extremely difficult to build, extremely difficult to test. And the thing that Netflix did wrong, for example, with the Tyson game is, the thing that they did not test was they were buying capacity with all of their partners to do the CDN. They didn't validate that that capacity was available. That was the problem that they had. They just weren't able to deliver this content to everybody. What do they have to do better? Well, they fixed it. That's also been our rule. Yes, we will fail. We will make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. We're not going to fire somebody in the team because they made a mistake. No, it's natural to make a mistake. The thing you need to do is you need to fix it extremely quickly. That's for us the golden standard. For NFL, we have redundancy on top of redundancy on top of redundancy. We have multiple different vendors all doing the same thing. We're spending probably 10 times the amount of money that we should be spending on this. But if something fails, it will not have a customer impact, and we will fix it fast. That's the idea behind it. And if not, I will not be at Dolby anymore, so that's fine.
And you won't be having to negotiate those big financial, problems, should we say?
With multi-billion-dollar companies come very big budgets. That's something that I learned as well over the last year. It's very different from startup world.
PJ, thank you so much for this really, really insightful talk, and congratulations on the journey. Thank you very much.